This episode is brought to you by Danger Coffee. We talk about how Danger Coffee is made free from mold toxins that are in 45% of the world's coffee, but that's not all that Danger Coffee has to offer. Mineral and nutrient deficiencies are a big deal. They make you feel sick, tired, stressed, and they can give you brain fog. These deficiencies negatively affect your immune system, your digestion, sleep, metabolism. Have you ever wondered why you get an initial burst from your coffee, but then you get that little crash not long after? Danger Coffee's patent-pending process remineralizes your body with more than 50 trace minerals and electrolytes, leaving you more energized, engaged, powerful. These micronutrients enter the cells to boost performance. They bind to toxins to provide detoxification support. I know that sounds like a lot, but the bottom line, guys, is minerals matter, and most of us really don't get enough of them on a daily basis. Danger Coffee delivers micronutrients, plus it gives you access to the minerals you already have. Head to dangercoffee.com, use our code DAWGS, DAWGS, for 10% off your order. And that code can be used over and over. So you get 10% off every order you make using code DAWGS. It's time to start every day off with a cup of coffee that gets you going and actually keeps you going. Dangercoffee.com, code DAWGS.
Welcome to the Dawgs Fantasy Football Podcast with your hosts, Justin Charles and Josh All.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Dawgs Fantasy Football Podcast. Josh and Justin back with you again this week, as always, because, again, it is our show, so that's good. It is good. It's probably good that we're both here. I know. Justin went on vacation a couple weeks ago. You guys know he was down in Disney. I'll be going on vacation here in a few weeks. I'll be in Hilton Head. So we'll probably do maybe a couple pre-recorded stuff just so we don't leave you guys with a week without anything. But today on the episode, we want to dive into, actually, we got a YouTube question, which we'll just kind of do a quick, listener question segment, talk about that and give some advice on his situation. And then I think we'll just hit the Rhamondre Stevenson contract real quick, kind of talk about what that means for your dynasty teams or just even fantasy in general this season immediately here in 2024. And then we are going to take a look at some tight ends, which shouldn't be as long of a conversation, looking at potential later round tight end values as, wide receivers and running backs, because tight end is, as they say,
a wasteland.
Yes. All right, so let's go ahead and kick things off here with this. We'll just do like a quick question. So This is from Duke Trippy 933 on YouTube. Again, before we dive into this, Duke, appreciate your question, and we are going to just use it here on the show because it was a great question, and we just wanted to answer it for everybody to hear. So he says he has the first overall pick this year. I'm assuming this is a redraft league.
Okay,
it's a 14-team team league. This is the first time Justin's hearing this, by the way. So I answered the question on YouTube, but Justin had not heard it yet. So
breaking it down live.
So he's got the 101 in a 14-team league. He says, I'm not taking Christian McCaffrey at 1 because the wide receiver market this year is rough. I'm stuck between expecting CeeDee Lamb to have a similar year to last year or Amon-Ra St. Brown making a jump in production and becoming the overall wide receiver 1. Help me. So real quick, he's got the 101.
Yeah.
Originally in the comment, he says, I'm not taking Christian McCaffrey. I'm between CeeDee and Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Okay. So when we were reading it, I'm going, well, okay, this is easy. Just take CMC and,
and move on.
Yeah, we're done here. So if it was me, I love Amon-Ra St. Brown. And I have a lot of stock in him. But I think if between those two, I think your best bet is to go CeeDee Lamb. If those are the two that you've narrowed it down to, I think you can make an argument. If you have the 101, you could say Justin Jefferson. If you're worried about the quarterback, I think a guy that if he can stay healthy, Jamar Chase, I wouldn't be completely upset at all if you went 1-1 Jamar Chase in that offense. But I think CeeDee Lamb's super safe bet. The guy has continued to get better every year. Their running back situation in Dallas, not great.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe even non-existent. Mm-hmm. I don't want to bash him too hard. So they're going to throw the ball a lot. Dak Prescott, He's shown multiple times that during the regular season, he's capable of providing and throwing all over the place. So if you're going to go that route, CeeDee Lamb for me.
Okay. So my response to him in terms of the wide receivers, I was with you. I said, I wouldn't consider Amon-Ra St. Brown here at 101.
Yeah.
I just don't know if he has that wide receiver one. Now he does. Now he could.
He puts up numbers like a 1.
But I think it would take some situations, some negative situations happening to these other guys for them not to end up being the wide receiver 1 overall.
I feel like he's already like heavily. I don't have his target share numbers off the top of my head, but I feel like he's a huge part of that offense already. You know what I mean? Like
he's definitely a huge part. But I said at 101, I was with you. Like CeeDee Lamb would be. If I was definitely going wide receiver, I'm between CeeDee and Tyreek Hill.
That's fair.
Because I think Tyreek Hill is still going to be just, he's a threat to put up 2,000 yards every year. I mean, wide receiver 1 overall, if you're looking for a guy who there's a very realistic chance. Now, I don't disagree with Jamar Chase.
Yeah. Yep.
But Jamar Chase has had some injury stuff.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow's had some injury stuff. There are question marks there. But for me, it would be between CeeDee and Tyreek Hill. But I told him, and my first response was, who says that wide receiver market is rough?
Yeah.
I said, honestly, with the way the running back market is, lock up CMC because he is by far and away the number 1 running back. Now, could he end up missing a game or two and a guy like Bijan Robinson plays the entire season and ends up running back 1?
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think that another person coming and getting the RB1 overall is going to come on some like spike weeks where a guy puts up 40, 45 points in a week, and then he'll have other weeks where he's got 8 or 9.
Right.
I think CMC is going to consistently be 20 points.
Or higher.
Exactly. So I think as far as on a points per game basis, consistency, CMC is can't miss.
I've been having this conversation for a couple. I have a buddy I work with, and he's currently shopping CMC in a dynasty.
So is our other co-host from the other podcast, Blake.
Also doing the same. They're bought into, he's on the Madden cover. He can be injury prone. To me, I don't care if it's dynasty or redraft. I think you have a 2 or 3 year window where you can ride CMC and feel confident. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong, I'm with you. I think he definitely can miss a game or two, but at 101, I think it's just no brainer CMC.
That's basically where I was at with this. So, and then just to give him some ideas. So I went through and did like a quick mock draft just to see where guys are falling. And I said, if you go CMC, now I didn't realize at first that it was a 14-team league, but depending on how guys go in that first and second round between running backs, does Laporta or, like McBride or Kelsey or those guys get picked? Josh Allen, some of these Jalen Hurts, do these guys start to get picked? I mean, I don't know. Some of these home leagues, you just never know. But I said, around that 2-3 turn, you could be, now in a 14-teamer, probably not as likely, but maybe Chris Olave falls into sitting there. Nico Collins, Brandon Ayuk, Mike Evans, Jalen Waddle. I said I would take any of those guys as my wide receiver 1 on my team if I had CMC as my RB1. And
did he say whether it was just a regular? Did we get details on Superflex? Because for me, like that's Superflex, like if it's a Superflex at 101, I'm taking Josh Allen. Or Jalen Hurts, or
I would say it's not Superflex since he didn't even mention quarterback.
Correct.
So,
right.
Yeah. So no Superflex, and just because he didn't specify, we'll just assume it's like a half-point PPR.
Yeah, fair.
Middle of the road.
Yeah, I'm kind of aligning with you. I would take CMC, but honestly, if I was sitting at 101 and I'm not taking CMC, I still love Justin Jefferson. Like, I feel like even in bad situations, he's that dude. But there's injuries now, there's scares but for me, I'm like, I don't think you can really mess that up if you take him there.
He produced with Nick Mullins.
Yep.
And
I can't even remember the other kid's name.
Jaron Hall.
Yeah, there it is.
So
I picked him up for a couple of days.
Yeah, absolutely. And Superflex, you pick up every quarterback you can. So, yeah, I think there can be an argument to be made for any of those wide receivers at the 101. But if you got 101, the advice coming from us, CMC. Yeah. Just lock it in and don't look back.
Yeah.
And just kick your feet up, chill out, wait until that 2-3 turn and just see who falls to you. I think that's a nice position to be in this year, knowing that CMC can be such a difference maker for your squad that, okay, I'll just grab him 1-1 and then I'll just let the board fall to me.
That's how I am. If I'm drafting, I either want to go 1-1 or give me that pick 12.
I hate the middle.
I hate the middle is just like, you're going to get sniped every 2 seconds by somebody. You're the guy that you want is never going to make it to you. It just tough, very tough.
It is. So hopefully that helps. I mean, we had this discussion on YouTube. So again, if anybody listening, watching, if you guys have questions about your rosters, your lineups, some situational stuff, opinions on certain players or whatever you have, just drop them in the comments. We're happy to answer. And you never know, we'll probably bring it on the show like this just to have a discussion and talk about it. So let's talk about Rhamondre Stevenson real quick.
Yes.
So I can't remember exactly what we talked about in terms of Stevenson whenever we did our running back shows and some values and things like that. I know we had mentioned Antonio Gibson being there in New England and how they went out and they got him pretty quick. Rhamondre had kind of a not so great year last year.
Injury stuff.
Production just wasn't all there. So, it was kind of one of those, do we just shy away from Rhamondre now this year? And then the news comes out. He gets a 4-year, $36 million extension, $17 million guaranteed, 6th highest paid running back in the NFL in total value of the contract. To me, it's like the Patriots are just putting it on a billboard saying, we're running this offense through Rhamondre.
He's our guy. He's the only guy that we got. Yeah. So for me, Rhamondre Stevenson is a guy that last year I took as much as I could because I felt like he just kept falling. He was just such a great buy low guy for me. It was almost like a James Conner. You got an RB1 sitting there far, down as far as rounds go. I'm with you. When they did the Gibson deal, I got kind of nervous because, you're bringing in a guy that can potentially, Rhamondre's thing was he was such a workhorse, once he finally got the opportunity, he's a workhorse back, every down back. And, so I'm like, I don't like that. And then, for me, I looked at the contract for Gibson after all this news comes out and I'm like, Gibson's basically like a throwaway piece.
Oh, really?
You know what I mean? His money, I want to say just his base contract for just this year is 1 point something million. And then there's bonus and incentives and stuff like that tied in. But we're very big on the other podcast on follow the money, right? Follow the money. For me, this just says, this is going to be the guy that's going to get us through this year. That's just going to probably be really rough. And I think a lot of people are kind of scared off on the Patriots, myself kind of included. So for me, this is I think he's even going to be potentially a farther down buy low. I'd be interested to see as far as rankings where he's at, but you're getting an RB1 or at least an RB2 for your team super far down. I'm guessing he's slid down quite a ways, especially with last year and everything.
Yeah, I could look it up real quick, and I will in a second to see where his ADP's at. But I mean, this goes back to the CMC. If you grab CMC at 101, and then you wait for that 2-3 turn, you grab a couple of receivers, lock that in a little bit. Rhamondre is a great RB2 to get a little bit later on. I mean, you're absolutely right. And I was hearing some other analysts talk about the Alex Van Pelt, which we know very well being Cleveland Browns fans, and the offense that they ran here and what people are just assuming that they're going to implement in New England since he is now the offensive coordinator. And some of that, the offensive run schemes from Cleveland actually fit what Rhamondre does very well. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of optimism for Rhamondre's production this year.
I know. I've seen a lot of people too talking about they brought Gibson in just to be the receiving back also, which he is great at that. But that was something Rhamondre was really great at too. So for me, not only are you getting, the stud running back aspect of it, the workhorse back, but you're also getting a guy who can catch.
Yeah.
So for PPR, to me, no brainer. I'm looking these rankings up right now as we speak.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm super curious.
With Rhamondre, again, you kind of alluded to it, rookie quarterback, Jacoby Brissett / rookie quarterback.
Correct.
The passing game's not going to be anything magnificent in New England. So the offense is going to go through that run game. It's going to go through Rhamondre Stevenson. I think Antonio, you have to have more than one running back. So, it's a no-brainer. You got to bring somebody in. So I think he's a change of pace, kind of a spell guy. But I think it is going to be predominantly Rhamondre. And who knows, maybe Gibson, maybe they had a lot more expectations for him in the return game with this new kickoff rule. Maybe that was their vision for him. Like, hey, you're going to be, the spell guy for Rhamondre, but we're going to use you as the number one return man or whatever.
So from what I'm seeing, he is ranked running back 19, did I see? Sitting around guys that are above him, Joe Mixon, Kenneth Walker. So very good value still.
Yeah.
Guys that were below him, he was 64th overall. Aaron Jones is ahead of him. Right below him, David Montgomery, James Conner, DeAndre Swift. So, there's still value there, but you figure what? Pick 64. What was that, 5th round, 6th round?
Yeah, that's...
Give me a starting running back in the 5th or 6th round with pass catching ability.
Yeah, who can be an RB1 on any given week.
Yes. And I think they're going to feed.
Yep.
I think they're going to feed him a lot. So I think he's one of those guys worth going after.
Yeah, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly because another thing to remember too, now Rhamondre came into the league at like 23, so he's a little older running back. He's 26 now.
Yes, sir. Yep.
We rarely see running backs get paid big money by the team that drafted them.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Don't most of these guys, if they stay with the team that drafted them, it's like a franchise tag or a 1-year thing, like we saw with Barkley and Jacobs. But they get let go.
Right.
They get that big second contract from another team. So for the Patriots to not even mess around with the situation and just pay the man, and he's even a little bit older of a running back, yeah, I think that speaks volumes to how they plan on using him this year.
I agree. I think ton
and
of
it's
value.
Smart. You've got Drake May. I think Drake May is a very good quarterback prospect.
That's fair.
I think he's got a very high ceiling that if they play their cards right and they don't ruin him, because you can ruin a rookie quarterback pretty damn quick.
Zach
Wilson. I think that they understand that. The idea is let's get this run game, let's run everything through it, and let's ease this kid along. And because you don't take a guy that high in the NFL draft, you don't invest what you did into Drake May if you don't plan on him being your long-term future. So they're playing the long game, and I think that equates to a good short-term return on Rhamondre Stevenson.
Yes.
This episode is brought to you by Omaha Steaks. Let's all take a minute to wish happy birthday to the United States of America, and there's no better way to celebrate America's birthday than with the best meats available for your backyard cookouts this 4th of July season. Right now, you can save 50% off site-wide during the Omaha Steaks 4th of July sale. So break out the grills and get ready for the 4th of July celebrations with Omaha Steaks. Get the burgers, the chicken, the jumbo franks, the brats, and of course, get the steaks. Those things are incredible. They've got appetizers, meatballs, wings. They've got desserts. They've even got wine. They've got everything you guys need to celebrate America's birthday with your friends and your family. Go to omahasteaks.com/dogs and use promo code DAWGS, DAWGS, when you check out, and you'll get an extra $30 off your order. So set off the fireworks in everybody's mouth with Omaha Steaks this 4th of July. Head to omahasteaks.com/dogs. Get 50% off site-wide during the 4th of July sale, and make sure you guys punch in that promo code DAWGS, DAWGS, when you check out to get an extra $30 off your order. Happy 4th of July, everybody. All right, so let's dive into some of these tight end rankings here. I got Fantasy Pros pulled up, and then whatever you want to pull up too. If we, something different, we can always compare, contrast. But we'll go through this and talk about some philosophies on where to draft tight ends. I'm thinking mostly let's just talk redraft today.
Okay,
for this, and just standard scoring, not like tight end premium or anything, but. Tight end number one overall tight end ranking is Sam Laporta.
Okay.
Second-year dude, had a huge,
monster,
incredible rookie season, which you just don't really see from tight ends very often, if at all. And it has propelled him to the tight end 1. So are you paying up the draft price to get Sam Laporta on your team, or are you passing on that?
I'm passing. Right now I'm passing.
Okay.
Only because, so for me, I love Sam Laporta. I think he's a great player. Big part of that offense in Detroit, was heavily targeted. Blew up on the scene. I don't know in a redraft, if you're reaching that high on a tight end, how you don't take Travis Kelce. So for me, if I'm taking a tight end, I'm not even taking Sam Laporta first. And maybe I'm behind the 8 ball here, but for me, give me Patrick Mahomes' favorite target.
So right now it's looking like Sam Laporta, Travis Kelce are back to back in the rankings. You got Sam Laporta 27th overall, Travis Kelce 28th overall. So this would be like early 3rd round picks.
Okay. If
you wanted to grab, one of those top 2 guys. So you're a Kelce over Laporta.
Yes.
If I had to go with one of them, I would probably go Kelce, but I'm bypassing this pairing altogether.
Let it ride for a second.
Yeah, because just look at some of these other names around them. Are you going to grab one of those guys over like a Drake London or a Mike Evans over a Nico Collins and Jalen Waddle, Michael Pittman Jr.? Isaiah Pacheco, some of these running back, Derrick Henry's around here. Some of these players, I would rather have those guys than take the swing on that tight end.
That's fair. And I'm probably with you. Maybe other than Kelce. Kelce is he's on, especially in redraft, and I can stack him and Patrick Mahomes. I'm doing that.
Which, based on, I think you probably could.
Yeah, I'm doing that. But here's the thing, and I think this is where you're going with it, is there's about 8 or 9 other tight ends. You're not going to get that huge boom week to week like Travis Kelce.
The consistency.
You're not going to get that.
Yep.
But a guy let's say Mark Andrews.
Yep.
When he's healthy, big part of the offense, right? In Baltimore. They have him ranked 4th on this list.
And overall, we were just talking about the 27th and 28th overall players.
Yes.
Now you got to drop clear down to 49 to get Mark Andrews. Give me that value.
Correct. Right. Or another guy I see, Evan Ingram, and he's even farther. He's at 6.
Oh, he's going to be he'll be a very later round type of quarterback or tight end.
And just one more that as I'm going down, and a guy that I've carried in a lot of leagues, Jake Ferguson.
Yeah.
At 10. At tight end 10, wherever that rank is, I think that's money, especially how the season ended. You know what I mean? 2-3 touchdown, big game. Mm-hmm. Dak built chemistry with him.
They don't have a whole lot of other receiving options.
Yeah, you got CD, and then Brandon Cooks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so.
So, and the reason why we say about passing on tight end early in favor of some of these other positions. Again, if you guys have played fantasy for a long time, this is not news to you, but if you're new to fantasy or you're thinking about starting up this year or whatever, for the majority of leagues, your standard average leagues, you play 1 tight end a week. You have 1 tight end spot in your lineup. That's it. You've got at least most likely 2 running backs, 2 to 3 receivers, and 1 to 2 flex spots, which means you have a ton of skill position players that you need to load up your roster with. You need to have plenty of depth to cover bye weeks and injuries and all that crap that happens. So to take a tight end like Travis Kelce or Sam Laporta so high, late 2nd or early 3rd round, you are bypassing a lot of very good players that could solidify those other positions that you need more of.
Yep. And I guess if you're just one more name I'm going to throw out there, and this one's going to be probably risky, and you're probably going to fight an uphill battle for maybe 4 weeks or more. What about TJ Hawkinson at 13? Yeah, I haven't followed too much about the injury recovery and all that stuff. I know he tore his ACL, right?
Yeah.
So big injury, probably going to miss some games starting the season, but TJ Hawkinson at 13th overall or 13th tight end overall.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're going to have to find a guy to fill in for whether you want to fill in with, I don't even know who they got all there in Minnesota, like who the next guy. I know they said that they signed Munt or something like that. I looked up.
They have like Josh Oliver or something like that.
I thought they brought in a pretty big name too. And I could be wrong.
Okay. Well, while you look that
Yes.
up, there's a couple other names that I will mention too that you didn't. So,
Okay.
and this, I mean, we're looking at tight end rankings, but if you go and you just look at like overall rankings, I see a screaming value. You get past the top 4, which included Andrews with those other 3 guys. And now we're talking about, let's see, where are they? So, well, I'll say top 5 because Trey McBride is kind of in that. He's 52nd overall. So in the top 50, let's just say, let's round down a little bit. You got 5 tight ends. I would pass those guys. Down at 68 is where it gets interesting to me because that's where Dalton Kincaid starts.
Okay.
So at 68, Dalton Kincaid, you're taking him over guys like, well, here's like the Rhamondre range, James Conner, Calvin Ridley, Najee Harris, Zamir White, Jaden Reed. I would take a swing on Dalton Kincaid probably depending on how I've built my roster to that point, just because there's a very high likelihood he's the top option for Josh Allen.
It's fair. That's
very,
fair.
very likely to happen. Another guy that you didn't mention, but so Evan Ingram, you did mention him. So he's down at 86. And then at 91 is David Njoku for the Cleveland Browns, a guy we know very well. And his end of season, the dude just broke out into elite level territory. And for him to be drafted clear down at 91, I think he was tight end 9, something like that. It is kind of crazy.
What's your feeling going into this year? Are you drinking the Kool-Aid with Kyle Pitts yet? Because I feel like if it doesn't happen this year, it might not ever happen.
So where's he at? Kyle Pitts?
7th.
I am not. Hard pass. No. Hard pass at tight end 7.
Yeah.
Give me Evan Ingram. Give me David Njoku. Okay. Heck, give me Jake Ferguson later.
Okay.
I still like Dallas Goedert in Philly.
Me too.
I think that he's a good tight end. They've got 2 elite wide receivers, so it is a little bit
and a really good running back now.
Yeah, they do. But I like your call on TJ Hawkinson, and then what about you? Are you drinking the Kool-Aid on Brock Bowers, tight end 12?
Probably not.
It's hard to trust rookies.
Especially tight end, like rookie tight ends. I'm probably not.
That's fair.
And I don't think it has anything to do with Michael Mayer. If anything, I think the idea of like Gardner Minshew throwing the ball, it's like, he'll find him. He'll find him absolutely. But yeah, I think I would pass on. That's to me just very, very risky. Like,
I'm with you.
For a guy I have to start every week, if he doesn't produce, you're getting 2-3 points every week from that guy.
I'm kind of interested about Pat Freiermuth this year just because he's down at tight end 15, and Arthur Smith is now the offensive coordinator in Pittsburgh and really likes to use tight ends.
Yep.
Really likes to throw the ball to tight ends. Another guy that is interesting that I'm keeping an eye on over training camp is Hunter Henry in New England. Mm-hmm. Talked about how they don't have a whole lot of options on offense. He's probably their best pass catcher right now.
Other than DeMario Douglas.
Yeah,
I'd say Pop Douglas, and
if you're rolling out there that Alex, we know that his offense uses tight ends quite heavily, and Jacoby Brissett likes to throw tight ends. Rookie quarterbacks tend to check down to their tight ends, so just keep an eye on Hunter Henry. How do you feel about Luke Musgrave in Green Bay?
Mm-mm.
No, okay, you're out too.
Mm-mm.
Okay, that was a quick conversation.
Yeah, I'm very much out there. So if we're going that far down, right?
Oh, I'm going super far for my next one, but go ahead.
A guy, if I'm going way, way down like that, give me Noah Fant. Like if we're going like guys that are projected like the 25th or farther down tight end, give me Noah Fant. If you're going to take a dart throw.
And that kind of is what you need to do, especially that would be my advice anyway. If you take a guy like, Dallas Goedert, Jake Ferguson, late round tight end, and you're like, hey, I know I got a decent guy, but I'm going to need good matchups. It's going to be a little more situational, like you said. Like he's not going to be my lock and load tight end spot every single week. Followed up with a guy like Noah Fant.
Yes.
And just see what you have the first couple weeks of the season. And if it's nothing, drop him and get somebody else. Or for me, a guy that I've been hearing a lot about and that I'm interested in is Colby Parkinson.
Okay.
For the Los Angeles Rams, because
go ahead. Tyler Higbee.
Thank you. I was like, drawing a blank. Tyler Higbee towards what, ACL? He was an ACL as well, right?
Yes. I believe so, yeah.
Achilles? Whatever.
Yeah.
Season-ending injury.
Knee injury, yeah.
Late in the year, so he is going to be out for a while.
Yeah. Last week of the season, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's going to miss majority of the season? Half at least?
I think so, yeah.
Colby Parkinson, there's been some buzz about him. They paid him a lot of money.
Yeah.
I forget what the contract was, but I know that, like you said, follow the money. They went out in free agency and they gave him a bag for what, they needed him to be. And he's really the only guy they got.
I have one more super deep reach, and I got to find him, see how far
You got to scroll.
I am scrolling a lot right now. Okay. At tight end 63.
Whoa.
Okay. Foster Moreau. All right. Just follow me here.
No, I am. You tell the listeners because I'm with you on this one. Yep.
Juwan Johnson's out. I don't know if they've released how many games he's going to miss for sure, but I know he had surgery.
Foot surgery.
Is it foot surgery?
I think it was foot.
Okay. So next in line technically would be Taysom Hill, but he's a gadget guy. We kind of all know that he's more of a backup quarterback, running back. Yeah. Anything but tight end, I guess. So Foster Moreau sitting technically as the backup tight end. You've got a starter, I would think, week 1. And we're talking, these aren't even guys you're drafting. Like, this is a guy, if you want to take him at the last round, your big dart throw, but you could just pick him up.
This would be a guy, if you take TJ Hawkinson, as soon as the draft is over, you put TJ Hawkinson into IR. Yep. And then you immediately go pick up somebody off the waivers.
There's your 4-week tight end.
Exactly. I like that strategy. So if you want to go with that strategy, bypass some of these early round tight ends, get TJ Hawkinson, who can be a top 5 type of tight end in fantasy football.
Yes.
Throw him onto your IR. As soon as the draft is over, then you throw him on your IR spot, and then you go to waivers and grab Foster Moreau or Colby Parkinson, or hell, there's going to be quite a few of these guys that don't make.
These are guys that are.
I mean, interesting people to keep eyes, and this is looking through training camp too to kind of keep your. And we'll talk about these guys as training camp goes on too, but like a Greg Dulcich in Denver, Daniel Bellinger in New York with Aaron Waller retiring.
Those guys a lot.
So see what the buzz is about those guys through training camp, preseason. Are they showing out? Are they on the field? Are they getting targeted? That kind of stuff. I mean, Zach Ertz in Washington even. I mean, just there are guys later that are worth some of these dart throws if you get somebody like a Hawkinson that you can stash.
Zach Ertz is going to be a starting tight end probably for at least, I don't know how long it'll take for Benson to take over that position. And he might not.
That's true. He's a rookie.
You know what I mean?
He might not.
He's a rookie tight end. You're grabbing, everybody's been calling him old man Zach. You pick up old man Zach and you potentially have a starting tight end and what could be a really good offense. We're not really sure what to kind of expect yet for them. But that's he's a guy in Dynasty I just kind of been scooping up and just almost like it could be trade bait, but could be an asset to the team,
Yeah. So again, just to reiterate, like the advice here really is just don't get too hung up on those early round tight ends. I mean, if you've got strong conviction about a Trey McBride and you have to have him, I got no problem with you taking the swing. The thing is though, if you take like a Trey McBride or even like a Dalton Kincaid, or you go even earlier than that and you grab Sam Laporta, what are you hoping for? 15 points a week?
Right. When you can go and get a running back or a receiver that can give you
20 to 30.
Plus, yeah.
And the thing is, some of these, like these tight ends, they're probably not going to boom.
Right.
Like the chances of them having a 12 catch, 230, 2 touchdown week Probably not going to happen or anything close to that. Where some of these wide receivers, you'll probably get he caught 4 for 77 and a touchdown.
Yeah.
And then you'll get he had 9 for 172 and 3. They have these massive spike weeks. So you kind of miss out on that opportunity of having that on your roster.
And I love Trey McBride. I could not take Trey McBride 3rd or 4th round right now in a redraft.
I've never taken, actually, I shouldn't say never. I think it was last year in my one league. I was in a position where we had like a keeper, and like the way I was drafting my wide receivers, my roster was actually pretty stacked already. And Mark Andrews fell to me. So I was like, oh, and I just debated, and I finally just pulled the trigger on it. Didn't end up hurting me. I actually won that league last year. It was the one I did win, but he got hurt. So I didn't have him but I was able to pick Trey McBride up off of waivers. So
just on waivers? Oh, yeah. Ouch.
Yeah. That was when they still had Zach Ertz.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Well done.
And that's the thing, man. I mean, hey, the draft is only the start of your season. The draft is the foundation of your team. And then it's all work from there, because if you're not paying attention to waivers and news, you are behind the 8 ball, and you're just not giving yourself a good chance to win your league. So
I agree.
We'll be talking about that stuff all season long. We'll be talking about guys be looking at on waivers and all that kind of stuff. So stay tuned. And is there any other tight ends you wanted to, any other fantasy stuff you want to dive into before we wrap it up?
Let me think. We can cut this out too, right?
Any dynasty trades that you're in the works with right now?
Yeah, actually I did. I messaged the guy today because I was trying to fill in some running back depth, and he said, oh, this guy must be really good. You and Josh both have been texting me about him.
Who was it?
Gnome.
I'm trying to remember who it was. Who's the running back?
Oh, we talked about him today.
Was it Rhamondre?
Yeah.
Okay.
I drafted him last year, traded him to get, I got Devontae Smith and somebody else all in a top 5 pick. And then I ended up, now I'm re-pursuing him, but he's like 4 teams traded away. So, yeah. Like no, at this point, nobody's really, no.
Yeah. I put a couple trade offers out because I don't have any running backs unless I got some injuries that benefit me. In that league, I've got James Cook, and then I'm just hoping that somebody like Charbonnet, Kendre Miller, Roshan Johnson, one of these guys, like I've got all these rookies from last year, and it's just, I got Jaylen Warren, which I think will be, that'll be weekly points. Yeah. I don't know if it's going to be huge upside, but we'll see how it goes in Pittsburgh. I've been putting feelers out for like Rhamondre, for Zamir White, Isaiah Pacheco, just some of these like RB2 type guys that I think could have a starting role this whole season, and I'm really just looking for a temporary solution. So
of those guys, I love Rhamondre Stevenson. Pacheco. He runs angry. I like watching him, and like where's the competition at? You know what I mean? Like as far as the depth chart, because Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
No, he's their guy.
Yeah,
he's totally their guy.
I like it.
Yeah. So if you guys have dynasty trades or anything that you're thinking about doing, or you're wondering, hey, what could I get for so-and-so? I'm looking for this, whatever. Throw those in the comments too.
Absolutely.
We love talking about
that. Yeah.
Dynasty trades and just fantasy football altogether. So do not hesitate. We
enjoy it.
We're available. We enjoy it. This is why we're doing it. So I think that'll do it for today. Like I said, kind of a little bit quicker because tight end just not as in-depth of a conversation necessary because it's a wasteland,
I agree.
like Justin said. So that is how it is. But we appreciate everybody tuning in. Thank you guys for checking out another episode. Please, if you're watching this on YouTube, I didn't say this at the top, but like the video, subscribe to the channel, help us out. If you're listening on audio, especially Apple Podcasts, but even Spotify, wherever you're listening, just give us a 5-star review. That also helps out the show a ton. We really appreciate it. And again, we're going to be rolling through the fantasy year with you guys. It's going to be a ton of fun, and we're really looking forward to seeing how this thing goes. Just helping you guys hopefully win some fantasy football championships. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. We're just trying to win rings here.
That's right. That's right.
All right, everybody. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dawgs Fantasy Football Podcast. Make sure to like and subscribe on YouTube and follow the podcast on social media at The Dawgs Fantasy.